What's up? It's Austin Rutherford. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can retire in the next 5 to 10 years, if not sooner than that. I'm going to show you how the current financial system is broken, and I'm going to show you how I was able to retire by the age of 28 years old and have no worries about money. I promise you, you've never seen it broken down like this before. It'll blow your mind, and if you stick around till the end, I'm going to show you one thing that can happen, which there's a 99% likelihood of it happening, that'll shock you to the core, that'll blow your entire idea of retirement. But before we get into that, make sure you smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It'd be greatly appreciated. So first, let's look at what people look at retirement nowadays. Retirement is 65 years old. You go to school till you're like 18 to 25-ish, and then you work for the next 40 to 45 years of your life to then retire at 65 when you're probably immobile, not as healthy, and not in the best shape to then live the life of your dreams. That's a terrible way to live life, in my opinion. Why would you want to live the best years of your life the last 10, 20, 30 years of your life? It's completely backwards. I want to live my best life right now. You know, everyone says YOLO, you only live once. So live in today. Don't wait until you're 65. But the problem with society is that is what they teach us, is to wait until you're 65. So the retirement plan nowadays is to go to college, get good grades, get a job, save some money, put it into a retirement account or an index fund or the S&P 500, and stop spending money on Starbucks and going out to eat, and save an extra 5 or 10% a month of your income to invest, and save that and continue doing that until you're 65 years old. And hopefully you have this nice nest egg of money when you turn 65 that you can then live off of until you've passed away. But I got a question for you. What happens if those projections are wrong? If you save $1 million and spend $50,000 a year, that means you have 20 years of money. So what happens if you start doing that at 65, but you live to be 90? You have 5 years with no income. You're out of money at that point. So what happens during those 5 years? You got to go back to work. You got to depend on Social Security, the government. They failed us many times before. So as you can see, that plan is broken. You know, that nobody knows what's going to happen. What happens if you have a down market? What happens if inflation goes up and 50 grand a year is not enough money to cover your retirement the way that you want to live? And by the way, 50 grand is not a lot of money to live on for an entire year. You know, I would rather structure it a different way where I can have a lot more money every year to actually live the dream life that I want to live. And that's what I'm going to show you today here. In just a minute, we're going to break to my screen and I'm going to give you a real life example of how this works. So let's talk real numbers. And this is what people don't tell you. They just tell you to save this nest egg of money to then hopefully be able to live off of. But real numbers, if you're financially literate, if you have financial education, you can see as clear as day, as soon as I show you this chart, that that system's broken. It's no longer here. It does not work. So let's jump into the screen so I can give you a real life example of how this breaks down. So if you look at this chart here, this is assuming that you save $1 million, that big nest egg that you can live on for the rest of your life. So you save $1 million and then you withdraw $65,000 per year to live on, to pay for your rent, to pay for your house, to travel, to have nice things, to have everything that you want, 65 grand a year. So at the end of year one, you subtract 65 from $1 million, that's $935,000. Now let's assume that you can make 3% per year in interest on that money because you're investing in a very safe asset. So you add back 3%, that's $963,000 a year. Now the next year, you're going to spend another $65,000, that's $898,000, but you make 3% on that money. So now you're at $924. Then you spend 65, now you're down to $859, and you go on and on and on and on. And if you look at this, when you get to year 21, which means you're 86 years old, you're 21 years into retirement, the good old years, and you have no money left. You're negative $60,000. So that means this nest egg of money will only last you 20 years. Again, assuming that inflation doesn't happen, there's no down periods in a market. This is best case scenario, it lasts 20 years. At negative 60 grand if you live another year. That's the messed up way of doing this thing. You know, that's the wrong way of living life, because you literally can't survive. You have to go and be at Walmart checking people in, or go and work at McDonald's working for $9, $10 an hour flipping burgers. That's not where you want to be, but this is what society tells us to be at. But I want to put one thing into perspective for you. Let's say one of these years you have a bad year. So instead of making 3%, the market crashes and let's say you lose 12%. In year 5, when you're 70 years old, you lose 12%. Watch this negative. It goes from year 21 to year 18. That means you're 82 years old and you run out of money. One bad year, which as you can see in today's world, there's a lot of variables coming into play. There's never a time when numbers just consistently go up to the right and never have a bad year. So you have a bad year, literally you're 82 and you're out of money. As you can see, the system is broken. What they teach you is to save an extra 5-10% a year on your income to then reinvest into the stock market and the S&P 500 to save this nest egg of money to live on. I've literally just showed you how that does not work. Best case scenario, you have 21 years, you're 86 years old. One little hiccup that happens, you're 82 years old and you're literally out of money. Think about what that would look like in your future. Do you want to be 85 years old going and working at Walmart or Wendy's? I know I don't. But the trick here is I told you one thing would blow your mind and change your life forever at the end of this video. So if you stuck around, just make sure you smash that like button for me. But I'm going to cut back to the screen. One thing that you can learn that can change the outcome of your life. Let's take a look at this. So if you look at the same chart that we just talked about, where you save up $1 million to live on for the rest of your life and you run out of it 21 years later at age 86. Now, if you can learn one thing about financial literacy, instead of making 3% per year on this money, you can make 8% per year on this money, your life will be changed forever. This is what the numbers look like if you can make 8% per year on that money. So you're spending the same $65,000 a year, the same exact money. And if you look at year 21, instead of having negative $60,000 left, you have almost $1.4 million left, and you still get to spend $65,000 a year leading up to that. I know this sounds crazy, like it should be going down, but that's what happens when you understand money and you can be financially literate and actually make 8% per year on this money. You got to understand, most people, most financially literate people look to make 10, 20, 30, 40% per year on their money. This is ran at 8%. So if you can just learn enough to get 8% through lending, through real estate, through rental properties, whatever it is, look at these numbers here. You can literally spend the same exact amount of money and still have $1.4 million left over. Think about that. Think about what your retirement can look like. You can spend more money per year and still have money left over. So when you pass away, instead of being dead broke, negative $60,000, you can pass away and leave a legacy for your children, your wife, your husband, your friends, whoever you want it to be. You can leave a legacy behind, $1.4 million behind you, and again, still be spending that same $65,000 per year every single year. That is mind-boggling to me that we don't teach this. We don't teach ROIs. We don't teach return on investments. We don't teach investing because they want us to live in their world where you save this nest egg and end up going broke at the end of the day. So I literally just showed you how the system is completely broken. They teach us to save money and then live off that nest egg. Why don't they teach us how to invest money to build a retirement that lasts us for the rest of our life? It's called cash flow. When you can learn how to invest your money, make your money work for you to make money and live off the money that's made, you never take away from the principal balance that you saved. So instead of waiting till you're 65 years old to have $1 million, why not learn a skill, make $1 million in the next 1, 3, 5, 10 years and retire, quote unquote, never have to worry about money again when you're 20, 25, 30 years old. Or if let's say you're already 40, start doing it now. And then at 45 or 50 years old, you'll still be able to retire way before that 65-year mark. Again, they don't teach us this stuff. If you become financially literate, you never have to worry about these things again. So my advice to you is to learn a skill to be able to make money, to be able to then live on through investing and having your money work for you. So go out there and learn how to flip or wholesale or e-com or stocks or crypto or any of these ways to make a lot of money. Stack that nest egg of $1 million or $5 million or $10 million or whatever you want it to be in your life, and then learn how to make 8, 10, 15, 20% per year on that money, because you'll literally never run out of money from that point forward. So if this was valuable to you, if this taught you something that you never learned in school or from anybody else, because I know I didn't learn this stuff in school. School definitely didn't teach me this stuff. If you didn't learn that stuff, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, because I literally just gave you the game to get to retirement at any age and live for free for the rest of your life and never have to worry about money again. So smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know if you think that's real or not, because I promise you it is real. It actually does happen in real life. And make sure you hit that subscribe and notification bell so you get all this content going forward. As always, I appreciate you being here, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.